Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see updates about when we put out new videos and leave some respectful comments in all the videos. Today we are going to talk about the biggest loser in the Wailing Caverns mini set for Forged in the Barrens as far as I can tell, which we're going to get right to it, and it is definitely Mage. So, Mage at the very beginning of Forged in the Barrens was by far the, well, not by far, but it was perhaps the most dominant deck, uh, and it was no minion mage that was winning the day. So the newly printed refreshing Springwater plus Incanter's Flow from before was letting people go through, draw tons of cards in their deck, play everything very cheaply, and most importantly, play Deck of Lunacy to make all of their cards haymakers and just use RNG to blow through opponents. So since then, Deck of Lunacy has been nerfed. Refreshing Springwater now costs 5, so it's not free unless you have it reduced. So that just came out in the most recent round of nerfs. And then on top of that, we have a new mini set in Wailing Caverns that gave absolutely nothing for really any mage. So the buffs to mage came by boosting Frost Mage. So Frost Mage is pretty much a non-existent deck. There were two, or I guess there are three archetypes of mage that were seeing some action. The meta was dominated by no minion mage. Then we had some people experimenting with hero power mage with Mordresh Fire Eye coming in with the win at the end. And then we had people playing tempo spell damage mage using Raz Frost Whisper to basically you play that and clear the board with a bunch of spell damage minions. The leader of the pack here is Imprisoned Phoenix because it's dormant for two turns, so the turn that it becomes active, you either play Raz Frost Whisper and clear the board, or you go off with spells. So those were the concepts of these decks, and they got no help from Wailing Caverns, while other decks like Shaman just got exponentially better. So, what happened? Why are we pushing Frost Mage? So, spell schools are new in Forged in the Barrens, and they're pretty cool, but we're pushing them. Blizzard's pushing them, and the Dungeoneers all are tooled for specific spell classes. So, Primal Dungeoneer draws you a nature spell, and then the Mage one draws you a frost spell. So these Dungeoneers are pretty cool in the way that they call back to World of Warcraft and doing dungeon runs and raiding and things like that, because people would have specialized spell schools. Like you would either be a fire mage or a frost mage or an arcane mage. So they're trying to work with frost mage. Frost mage's problem right now is that there are no frost spells that can deal damage to the opponent's face. So there's plenty of frost spells that freeze the board, that kill minions. You got Brain Freeze, which is a really quality frost spell that can either kill a minion or freeze a minion. You have a bunch of different freeze like Cone of Cold that can freeze 3 minions on the board. You've got Flurry, which is free, which free spells are always great and can sometimes freeze 1, 2, or 3 minions depending on how much mana you have. So really great against decks that have no way to affect your board without minions. Freeze Mage is really good for that. It was good for that before this, and it's still good. But without any way to deal damage to your opponent's face, there's no way to capitalize on the tempo you gained by freezing the board if your opponent isn't playing minions. So you can play your new Dungeoneer, get 2 frost guys on the board, you can play a bunch of early game threats, you can freeze your opponent's whole board, and if they have one spell that clears your board, you're toast. And that's it. So if you're relying on the new Dungeoneer, you either need to have a whole deck full of frost spells so that your Dungeoneer always generates the 1/1 freezing elementals, or you need to make a well-rounded deck that doesn't use the Dungeoneer, because a 2/3 for 3 that draws you a card is pretty mediocre now. So you either have to have arcane spells that draw you cards, or you need arcane or fire spells that deal damage to your opponent's face, or you need to pray that your opponent has no spell board clears. So that's the big problem with Frost Mage. You can't really truly be a Frost Mage because there's no Frost Burn, there's no Frost card draw. So all your card draw has to come from minions like Arcanologist or Star Scryer or some other way to draw cards, and all of your damage has to come from minions, which is a tough sell for Mage, which has never really been about minion damage. So with those issues, Frost Mage is not going to get better until they have Frost damage to the face. So right now, your best bet is to play some other kind of Mage. And since all the other classes got pretty decent buffs and Mage didn't, the other mages are not looking so hot right now. So Mage is not in a great place. Hopefully when the next set comes out, we'll get some direct damage Frost spells to make Frost Mage viable. Until then, stick with no minion Mage, or try to have some fun with Hero Power Mage. Win rates on Hero Power Mage are pretty not very promising right now, but you know, it's fun when it works, so I would give that a shot. Anyway, let me know what you think of Mage right now. What do you think is the biggest loser from Wailing Caverns? I think it's Mage, but let me know what you think with a respectful comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in next time.